upon a time in the bustling city of Abuja lived a wealthy woman called Simi. Simi was no ordinary woman. She was in her late 40s, yet her life looked like a carefully curated magazine cover. Polished, powerful, and enviably perfect. She owned not one, but two massive, breathtaking mansions. Parked in front of her home were three sleek, expensive cars, each one glittering like a trophy of her success. She wasn't just rich, her life was perfect. She was the CEO and owner of a renowned fashion empire and brand called the Simi Couture, a fashion brand that catered to royalties, celebrities, and top politicians. Her fashion house was a glass and silver masterpiece and with staff so large. However, Simi had no husband nor any child. No one knew why because she refused to talk about it. Also, she had no family member because, according to her, she was an orphan. And neither did she keep any friends. She was all on her own. Simi was also a very tough and difficult woman. Her staff and every other person around her gave her the name Iron Lady because Simi hardly smiled. Her face was always tight and unreadable. In fact, she only allowed herself smile for only one reason, and it is usually for a second. And this is only when she has to relate with her clients. "Thanks for patronizing my brand. Be sure we will style you perfectly," she would say, and add a 1 second half smile. And that is it. Other than that, she was fire, sharp-tongued and fierce. She issued commands to her staff like bullets and tolerated no error. One wrong stitch and she would explode. "Are you okay? Is this what you call work? What is this rubbish?" she would bark. No one dared to cross her. Her eyes were the kind that could freeze your soul. Her presence alone can silence an entire room. She wasted no time to fire any staff she deemed incompetent. She barely gave room for second chances. Yet, one would think that people would stay away from her and would dread working for her. But it wasn't so. Many young people sought to work for and work with her. It was their dream, especially those who look forward to building their own fashion brand in the future. Simi was a force in the fashion industry, and working with her not only meant gaining expertise alone, but it also meant being able to get high-caliber clients when they eventually open their own fashion brand in the future. I got my training from Simi Couture. Was all a person needed to see, accompanied by showing the certification they got from Simi for them to get a high-caliber clients to trust and patronize them. This simply means that those who had worked for Simi and were trained by her were trusted to be highly efficient, skilled, and creative, and also do so well and grow big when they eventually moved to other cities to establish their own fashion house after training from Simi. As a matter of fact, Simi referred some of her clients to those who once worked for her or trained under her, especially if these clients are from different cities. It was certain that everyone who worked for and were trained by Simi do so well as successful fashion entrepreneurs. For those who currently work with her, were also very well paid. Their salaries were even more than some government civil servants. And it came with mouth-watering bonuses and incentives. Simi would not open her mouth to say thank you or commend his staff if they did something good. She never does, because she always kept a straight and hard face. But she sure does notice, and such a staff would usually get a bonus for a work well done. So, it was no surprise that despite how harsh and so difficult she was, people still worked for her. Many young, ambitious women dreamt of being like her. Strong, fierce, ambitious, and wealthy. One of such young women was a girl called Nonye. Nonye was a young woman of 25 years old. She was from a very poor background and had lived in the village with her poor widowed mother. Though she had been doing farm work with her mother, Nonye had always loved dressmaking. However, all the while she was in the village, she couldn't get to learn the skill because she couldn't even afford the cheap fee of 8,000 naira to learn from under one Auntie Amara, the village tailor. After a while, Nonye sought to move to the city so she could get a job, work for a while, and save up to enroll in a fashion school. So, she moved to Lagos and stayed with a friend called Nene, and then got a job as a cleaner in an eatery outlet. And it was while she was in Lagos that she got to learn about Simi. Everything about Simi captivated Nonye. Simi's beauty, her elegance, her grace, success, and most importantly, her force in the fashion industry. This was Nonye's dream. It was what she has always hoped of becoming. And so, Simi became Nonye's idol. She read about her all the time whenever she was less busy. She would spend long hours daydreaming of when she would get to train under Simi and then become like her. Then one day, after many months working in Lagos, she made up her mind that she was going to move to Abuja and train under Simi. She told Nene about this and started saving up for it. Though, Nene thought it wasn't such a good idea. Simi David is very, very expensive. With the little you earn, you may need to save up for a period of 3 years or more for you to be able to afford Simi's training fee, Nene told her. Moreover, the other good designers in Lagos now, why must it be Simi David? She asked Nonye. But for Nonye, it had to be none other than Simi David. It was her dream, her obsession. And so, after many months, when she felt she had saved up enough money, she moved to Abuja. Nene's older sister, Binyi, allowed her stay with her. However, when Nonye walked into Simi's fashion empire, she was told that they were not accepting any more trainees at the moment. According to our itinerary, not until the next 2 years, the receptionist told Nonye when she inquired to know when next they would take on new trainees. 2 years? That is a long time now, Nonye said, and bet that they accept her with promises to give in her best. But the receptionist told her that there was nothing she could do about it. But Nonye refused to give up and returned again the following day, still begging to be considered. She did this every day for 1 week, that the receptionist got tired and brought up her case with the company's manager. Please, just take me in now. It is my dream to get trainee, and I have saved up everything I have to see that I achieve this. 2 years is a long time to wait, and a lot may happen and go wrong within this time, Nonye said to the manager, begging on her knees. The manager studied her for a moment, then said, "Okay, I will present your request to our CEO, Madam Simi, and let's hope maybe you will be lucky, she said to Nonye. Then let her pay 70% more, Simi said flatly when the manager brought up Nonye's issue to her. If she's that desperate to get in, let her prove it. It is either she becomes discouraged and back out, or we make an extra profit from the inconvenience of taking in an extra person, Simi added coldly. When Nonye returned again, she was told the condition for her to be accepted as an extra. Nonye was sad, and besides, she didn't even know that the training fee was that so quite expensive. The amount she and Nene had speculated, though still so high for their status, was only 1/3 of the actual amount of the training. And that was all Nonye had managed to save. So now, finding out the real price of the training and being told to even pay 70% more completely left Nonye discouraged. I told you, didn't I? But no, you wanted to aim for what is beyond you, Nene told her when she told Nene this. Nonye felt sad because it seemed like her dream to train under Simi may never materialize. But then, a month later, Nonye saw an opportunity to get into Simi's company. She got to learn that they needed and was looking to employ a cleaner, so she quickly applied. Even if I can't train as a designer now, at least I can get to work for Simi and get the opportunity to gain some experience from her, Nonye said to herself. So, she applied for the cleaning job even though Nene called to advise her against it. Luckily for her, she was accepted and so began her job as a cleaner in Simi's kuto. For 2 months, Nonye did this. And during this period, she tried to make friends with a few of the trainees because she hoped to learn from them by the side. However, everyone she approached ignored her and wanted her to know her place. To them, she was far beneath them as the cleaner that she was. Then one day, Nonye was called in by Simi's PA, Tolani, to come clean up a wine spill from a wine bottle that Simi had mistakenly knocked down and broken because it was not well placed. Call the cleaners to come clean up this mess, Simi had ordered. Nonye was the cleaner free at the time, so she was sent in by their supervisor to go clean up the mess. As she went in, she greeted Simi and Tolani with tension visible in her voice because it was her first time entering Madam Simi's office, and she began to clean immediately. "What is your name?" Simi suddenly asked Nonye while she cleaned. It was the first time Simi was seeing Nonye. Simi didn't bother herself about hiring staff or which junior staff like cleaners and messengers work in her company. She had a manager and an HR who handles all of that. Nonye froze when Simi asked her her name and feared that she may not be cleaning well. She has heard how ruthless and harsh Simi was and had also witnessed it from afar herself a few times. So, with a shaky voice, Nonye replied Simi and told her her name. "My name is Nonye ma," she said shakily. But Simi did not stop there. Simi went on to ask her where she was from and how old she was. Simi did not stop there. She went to Nonye and held her when she noticed that Nonye was tensed and shaky. "Hey, calm down, my dear. I don't bite," she said with a gentle voice and gentle smile that left everyone baffled. Now, What baffled Simi's PA, a manager, and another staff who was in the office at the time was how calmly Simi spoke to Nonye. Usually, when Simi spoke to her staff or even the trainees, it was with a high pitch and that her hard, unfriendly face. But with Nonye, Simi had used a gentle and calm face. And from that day, that was how Simi continued with Nonye. Every day, as soon as she arrived at work, she would ask for Nonye just to see her and to know how she was faring. How are you today? I hope you're fine. I hope no one is giving you a hard time here, she would ask with a gentle smile. Sometimes, she would call Nonye to her office and give her money to buy lunch. Or sometimes, give her the chocolates and other gift items she got from her numerous admirers, which before she would trash. It became so evident to all that Simi had picked an unexplainable interest in Nonye, especially also how often she asked her different questions to know more about her. At first, Nonye herself wasn't so comfortable and felt odd and confused because this was a woman who was so tough and harsh to others. So, though Simi smiled at her and always told her to feel free and relaxed around her, Nonye could not bring herself to. Then one day, when Simi learned that Nonye has interest in learning the sewing skill and that she was the same girl who had been so desperate to train under her months ago, Simi asked her to stop working as a cleaner and join the training without any fee. Instead, Simi offered to continue paying her stipends. Just a little stipend to help you get along and get stuff while you train, Simi told her. Nonye couldn't believe her ears. She was so elated to finally have the opportunity to be trained by Simi, more so for free. With excitement, she rushed and hugged Simi tightly, and Simi hugged her back, smiling, happy to see that she made Nonye happy. Once again, Tolani and the rest of the staff were baffled. What is it about this Nonye girl that could make Simi treat just only her so nicely? They asked each other. Well, Simi continued to treat Nonye nicely. Even during trainings, she would take her time and calmly explain things in detail to her. Even when Nonye made mistakes, she overlooked it. One time, Nonye mistakenly spilled a marking paint on a very expensive white fabric owned by an important client, and which was worth over $1 million. When she did, she was very scared and feared that there was no way that Simi would overlook this. However, Simi let it go. It is okay, my dear. It is just a mistake. We all make mistakes, don't we? Simi said, stroking Nonye's cheek and smiling. Simi replaced the fabric with her own money, going all out to ensure that she got the fabric directly from the suppliers in France because it was custom made. To Simi, Nonye could never do wrong. But if others made mistake, even as little as just a dust stain on the fabric, Simi would growl like an angry dog at the person. And this made everyone started to feel that probably Nonye must have bewitched Simi. Surely she must have bewitched Madam Simi. There's nothing contrary anyone would say to me to make me think otherwise, the receptionist said to the manager one day. Did you not see how desperate she had been to get into the fashion school and get trained by the boss in the first place? She added. She must have cast a spell on Madam Simi to get Madam Simi of all people to like her the way she does. Some other staff said amongst themselves. She must have a motive. She wants to be Madam Simi's favorite and then someday take over from her. Some of them added. Even her fellow trainees thought the same. That Nonye girl is a desperate, ambitious gold digger. So, because we refused to be her friends, she found a way and a trick to worm her way into the boss's heart to spice us, eh? They all said. And so, while Simi loved and treated Nonye well, every other person in the company despised her. But for all who despised Nonye most was Tolani, Simi's personal assistant. Tolani had been working for Simi and had been a PA for 8 years. Yet, Simi treated her like the way she treated every other person, harsh and rigid. In fact, Simi never allows Tolani to sit with her in the backseat of her car. Tolani always sat in the front with the driver. The day Tolani had attempted to sit at the back seat with her because she wanted to show and discuss some documents with her, Simi yelled at her and embarrassed her. But Simi often offered to drop Nonye off after work and would tell Nonye to sit with her at the back seat, which most people presume to be the owner's seat. And so, Tolani felt angry by this. She was the same age as Nonye and believed that because of how loyal she had been to Simi and the many years she had dedicated to serving Simi, she should be the one Simi should be treating nicely and not Nonye. Angry by this, she stopped Nonye one morning on the hallway. "Hey you corny and sneaky bitch. I can see that you have bewitched the boss to make her like you and treat only just you nicely. I want to tell you that whatever your plans are, it would not work. It will not work because some of us have labored our asses out for this company. And if there's anything to benefit from Madam Simi in the future, I would be the first. Me would be the first. So, I would advise you to better undo whatever spell you have cast on the boss now. Because that your motives and plans have failed already," Tolani told Nonye. Nonye was sad and became bothered that everyone around her thinks that she must have bewitched Simi. But then, she could not blame them. Even she herself wondered why Simi was so ruthless and harsh to everyone except her. She had thought so long about this, but haven't been able to figure out why this is. So, one day, on their way home after the close of work, Nonye summoned the courage to ask Simi why. Slowly, she spoke. "Ma, I appreciate the love and kindness you've shown towards me and all you've done for me. And I will forever be grateful to you. I will never take it for granted. But I have a question bothering me. Not because I am not grateful, but because I am curious to know why you treat me differently from others. I am curious to know what makes me different from the others in your eyes," Nonye asked Simi. Simi breathed heavily and was quiet for some time after she heard Nonye's question. Then, she asked her driver to stop and give them some privacy. And that was when Simi told Nonye her story. A story she had tried to keep behind her for so many years. Simi lost both parents when she was young. She didn't know how her father died because she was much younger when he died. But her mother had remarried again when she was 7. However, her mother also died when giving birth to her younger sister. The family of the man Simi's mother got remarried to called them cursed and so dumped them with Simi's grandmother, who was blind and could barely take care of them. So, Simi, as a big sister, had to be there for her baby sister. She loved and took care of her baby sister so well. She worked on people's farm in order to get food for herself, her sister, and her poor blind grandmother. Just like Nonye, Simi too had always loved dressmaking. So, when she turned 17, she went to another village to learn how to make dresses because there was no dressmaker in her village at the time. There, she met a couple who were both into dressmaking. It was a combined business for the couple, more like a family business, and they had a few young people also learning from them. One day, Simi was holding a local coal iron with hot coals in it, which she had been asked to light by her boss. Then, a bigger girl accidentally pushed her, causing a hot coal to fall off from the iron and burn a fabric. The fabric was expensive, and the owner was mad and threatened to get them arrested. The big girl, out of fear, denied that she had pushed Simi, refusing to take part in the blame. Simi's bosses were forced to pay a huge price for the damaged fabric. Now, Simi's boss was an immoral man and a pervert, and he raped Simi one day when his wife was away. And though he had paid for the fabric himself, he lied and used it to threaten Simi that he would lock her up in the police cell if she ever told anyone that he raped her. Poor and naive Simi was so scared by his threats and couldn't tell anyone. And for many months, her boss continued to defile her sexually whenever he pleases. What broke Simi most was that a few times his wife and some other apprentices like herself caught her boss defiling her, but they looked away and said nothing. Then one night, Simi caught him defiling her younger sister also. Her grandmother had passed away, so she had asked her boss for permission to bring her sister to come stay with her. The man agreed, and Simi had felt grateful, not knowing that he wasn't only a rapist, but was also a pedophile. Her sister was only 9 years old at the time, but the man had defiled her sexually still, causing her sister to suffer from severe bleeding and sexually transmitted infections. Simi, who couldn't bear to watch her younger sister suffer this, went to the village head and reported the man. However, he denied it. Simi begged the man's wife and her fellow apprentices who had witnessed the man defiling her several times to speak up for her. But every one of them denied that they were witnesses to this and called her a liar. Simi and her sister were thrown out and had to live in an abandoned hut in another village. And unfortunately, a few days later, her sister died as a result of this. And since then, Simi has hated people. She considers people evil, selfish, and sees people as creatures that are devoid of love, but full of evil and selfishness. She was hurt by the fact that nobody spoke the truth even when they saw it, because they wanted to save themselves. She hated men especially, and that was why she refused to be associated with any man or got married. Well, she later struggled doing odd jobs to feed and survive, and was later able to fully learn dressmaking and build up her empire. But she resolved within her to relate with people only on business terms. To her, communicating and being around people must be nothing more than just business for her. She gave no room for play or for friendly social interaction. And that was why she was so harsh, hard, and never smiled. And though she had gone back to get her revenge, by planning to get the man and his wife arrested when she later became successful. She found out that they were no more and had both passed away. She heard that their deaths came as a result of a deadly disease and years of intense pain. But still, Simi still carried the odds within her. And then came the day when she first set her eyes on Nonye. Though she had hid it, she was shocked and emotional because Nonye was a split image, a replica of her sister who died so many years ago. She had heard of doppelganger and heard that it exists, but meeting Nonye made her confirm that it was true. The resemblance was so much, and the only difference between Nonye and her late sister was that if at all her sister were to still be alive, she would have been older than Nonye. So, that was why Simi had a soft spot for Nonye. In Nonye, she saw her late little sister, whom she had lost due to man's cruelty. Nonye became so emotional after hearing all of Simi's sad story. She then understood why she had been uptight and ruthless to every other person except her. Nonye hugged Simi tightly that day without judging her. She decided to let some days pass to ease off the emotional moments the thought of the past caused Simi. But days later, Nonye decided to speak to Simi. She told Simi that she perfectly understood her pains and the anger she feels, but pleaded with her to let go, letting her know that true happiness and peace comes not only by acquiring wealth and seeing the people who ought to suffer, but by releasing them from our hearts, forgiving them, and choosing to be happy. She told her that one smile and peace of mind is the greatest medicine to looking healthy and getting to live long, and not just the money we acquire. She begged her to forgive and to stop seeing everyone as evil just because of the mistakes of a few. Because just as evil and bad people exist, so does good and kind people exist. She told Simi that Simi herself was one. I know that you show toughness outside, but being close to you, I have come to learn that deep within you is a kind and gentle soul, Nonye said to her. Nonye's words were healing, lifting off and soothing the deep pain that had long dwelled and was hidden in Simi. And for a long time, Simi allowed herself to be soft and to cry again. After a long moment of crying, she felt a calm and peace in her heart. Nonye held and hugged her the whole time. The next day, Simi returned to her office a brand new person. She smiled more, laughed, stopped yelling, and corrected everyone in love. Her staff and trainees were surprised. What changed? They asked each other. But only Nonye knew. And so it was and continued. Simi no longer became the harsh and ruthless boss and treated everyone equally. And because she treated everyone equally, no one could point an accusing finger to Nonye anymore. Although, for Simi, Nonye was still special to her more than anyone else. But it was no longer because she looked like her late sister, but because she was the one who had helped her heal. The end. I hope you enjoyed this story, and I am sure you got the lessons in the story. Drop them in the comment section to let me know that you do. As usual, please like this story before you go, share, and hit the subscribe button if you have not subscribed yet. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in my next story. Bye.